just to the program right now, go back to our program, annual program. We shall have the National Anthem led by one of our teachers from Ihiji Primary School. Please come forward to lead us into the National Anthem. Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee, lay our future in thy hand. United free for liberty together, always down. Let's go to the East African Anthem. Believe it? Okay. Let's have a word of prayer from our curator from the Great Lakes Museum.
Humble ourselves, we pray. Lord, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Jesus Christ. We thank you for the general mercies you have let us reach this day of International Museum Day. Jesus Christ, we have come here to thank you. We are here to celebrate. Let no any devil to disrupt our celebration, Jesus Christ. We thank you that whatever we learn from here to come into our inner spirits, have been able to praise you, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you for that wonderful prayer that we've had today. At this time, I want to invite the senior education officer. We want to. Yesterday I had the Heritage Secondary and Primary Quiz, where our learners participated in this event, and therefore we are awarding them certificates of participation in recognition of their efforts and love for heritage. Mr. Tachabala, you're presiding over this segment.
Thank you very much, my brother David. Honorable Minister, sir, the PS, and all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen, let me once again welcome you to this International Museums Day. Mine is very simple. My name is Tatiabala Michael, Senior Conservator in charge of education. Throughout this week, we have been conducting a quiz, the Heritage Quiz, and it was climaxed yesterday. We had a number of schools, had 5 secondary schools participating and 4 primary schools. It was quite inspiring, quite interesting, and at the same time challenging. From our interview with some of the children and students, it was actually digging deep into the reflection and connection back to our culture. I want to thank the teachers and the students who sacrificed, who took their time to take part in this quiz. Mine is simple. I want to invite Madam Commissioner, Museums and Monuments, who invite the PS and subsequently the Minister for the award of these certificates to the schools which participated in the schools International Museums Day Heritage Quiz 2022. I beg your pardon.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister, the Honorable Minister of State, all invited guests. You're most welcome this morning. Yesterday we had a number of activities here. We had one on the vintage museum on the hills involving the vintage cars. But we also had another successful event here with the schools. A successful debate went on here. And so this morning, we want to recognize the schools and the children that participated in this cultural debate. So MC, you will read loud so that everyone can be able to hear the names of the student and the school that participated, and then our job is per word. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Commissioner. We had 9 schools, 5 secondary schools and 4 primary schools. For this occasion, we are awarding the schools, the individual schools that participated, but then later on we shall award the individual students. Allow me read the first school that participated, St. Teresa Kisubi Primary School. Please come forward and receive your certificate. We also had Busega
Teresa Girls Secondary School, Kisubi, is from Entebbe, towards Entebbe. Yes, Entebbe. It's a girls' school. You're most welcome. Thank you for participating and for championing this debate. Thank you.
We also had Busega Preparatory School. Busega Preparatory School is in Busega as we're going to Chengera. Thank you for coming. We were also privileged to have Little Muhiji Primary School. Little Muhiji, I saw them arrive. Okay. Then Chitante Primary School. These are our immediate neighbors. Then we have Vision College Chikajo. Vision College Chikajo. We have Majorin College Mlawa. This one is in Chira municipality. Thank you for participating. We also had Happy Hours Secondary School. This one is in Boise. Thank you for coming. We also had Alliance Standard Secondary School, Lunguja. Alliance Standard Secondary School, Lunguja. Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam PS. Thank you for the education section for endeavoring to do that activity and enabling some of the schools to be here. The Honorable Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, the Honorable Minister of State for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, the Director for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, the Permanent Secretary for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, all invited guests from other departments and from our friends of the museums. You are most welcome to the today, 18th of May, the International Museums Day, which we normally celebrate here at the National Museum. I want to thank you very much for being able to take off important time to be here with us, to do the celebrations as we have always done. We normally invite our friends, our partners on this day because the aim is to build the family. The aim is to sensitize the community that we are an important group of people, as museum people, who need friends and who need to be supported and who can make a difference whenever called upon. Therefore, I want to thank you so much for being here and for making this day look international as it is deemed to be. Ladies and gentlemen, my speech now is a welcome speech. I want to I have a couple of speeches coming, and I'm only wanting to inform you that the group, the family has grown. We started small, but now we are many. So many groups are here, so many museums are here. We have the Bank of Uganda here. We have URA Museum. We have the Parliament Museum is here. We have Wokoma. There are a couple of them, Kogere, Iga Chiguru, and many others. We have UBC and so many other people that have been able to come. I want to thank all of you for being able to honor this day and for coming here to be with us. With those few words, I would love to invite the Permanent Secretary to give her speech.
The Honorable Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Honorable Minister of State, Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, all representatives of government ministries, departments and agencies. Allow me to be selfish and recognize our own. We have the director. I will later ask him to come here and introduce himself because he's quite new. Director, Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. We have our commissioner in charge of tourism development. We have our agencies here. I think I've seen the executive director, Uganda Wildlife Authority, who also happens to be the neighbor. I don't know if the other agencies are here, but I know we have representatives of our sister ministries, departments and agencies. I've seen the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. I think Ministry of Education and Sports is here. I recognize all of you. I want in a special way to recognize the former Commissioner Museum, Dr. Kamuhanjire. Dr. Kamuhanjire, you're most welcome. And we thank you for always being with us. I want to recognize all our friends of the museum, those who are actually here as museums, community museums, the other museums that the Commissioner has talked about. I thank you for always being with us. You were with us yesterday, and you're here with us today. I want to recognize the schools, the teachers, the students, all of you that took part in the activities yesterday and today. We are very proud of you. I want to recognize the private sector, the tourism private sector. I have seen Mr. Byamukama, who is the ex-president of UTA, but now I think heading another association, and many other representatives of the private sector. I want to recognize the media. I want to thank those who have entertained us, the cultural groups. Some of them are students, of course. But my job is really to appreciate and thank you all for being here. It is indeed my honor and pleasure to welcome you today to the 46th celebration of the International Museums Day. But before I go into my speech, like I said, I'd like to ask our new director to come here and just say hello. Sometimes I find it a bit hard to say his name, so I would rather he says it rather than me mispronounce it. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you, PS, for the opportunity. Honorable Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Honorable Minister of State, and all the invited guests. I've been asked to introduce myself, and I'm strictly saying my name. My name is Basil Ajer. I'm the new Director for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. I want to specifically thank the Department of Museum and Monument for organizing this very important day, which connects actually museum, and the theme is the power of museum. And we know that is very, very important in strengthening, preserving culture, which is our duty. To preserve heritage so that our children have something to learn. Thank you so much. I look forward to having a cordial working relationship with all of us. Thank you so much, peace.
Thank you, Basil. I have a long speech, so I am not going to read it all. I am just going to welcome you, and then I will leave the speech to the Honorable Minister, because I don't want to preempt what he's likely to say. But on behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, and on my own behalf, I would like to say we are very grateful to all of you for having honored our invitation to attend this celebration in spite of all your busy schedules, but accepting also to work with us in the promotion of the role of museums for sustainable development. I would like to, in a special way, appreciate all those who participated yesterday in the event we had at Parliament, all throughout the day, the Museums on Wheels, the vintage car lovers and owners, and the museums that we have already mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know the intrinsic value of museums as custodians of our heritage, in addition to the ever-increasing role in stimulating creativity, providing opportunities for creative and cultural industries, and for the enjoyment of our diverse cultures. Museums world over play an important role, not just for acquiring, conserving, research, communication, and exhibition for purposes of study, education, and enjoyment of heritage, but also have a primary purpose of safeguarding and preserving the heritage as a whole, and present the interaction between culture and nature, and to work for the development of social communities whose testimonies it conserves while lending a voice to their cultural aspirations. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the International Museums Day is celebrated every 18th of May every year. This was started by the International Council for Museums back in 1977 as a day when we celebrate by increasing public awareness on the role of museums in the development of society, focusing on various themes. The power of museums was the theme for this particular one of 2022, and the localized theme we chose for Uganda is the power of museums in conserving of our culture. And that is why, as you will see in the exhibits inside, you will see a lot of exhibits that show the role of museums in conserving our culture. So apart from this main activity for today, we have had several other activities. The Commissioner has already talked about them. We started with exhibitions that have been going on here at the Uganda Museum from the 12th to date, which were organized in partnership with other museums, and the Uganda Museum exhibiting the power of museums by mounting displays that portray the journey from colonial times to date under another sub-theme, which was the journey taken by the Uganda Museum from 1908 to date. I would like to take this opportunity, Honorable Minister and all of you, to invite you to tour the exhibition as you reflect on the various themes highlighted for today. Yesterday we had two events: the Museum on Wheels, basically composed of vintage cars by the public, that was flagged off at Parliament by the Speaker, en route UBC and up to the museum. And then we had the children's debate at the Uganda Museum. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to celebrate this year's International Museums Day, I invite you to reflect and explore the power of museums using these four lenses. One is the power to achieve sustainable development. The other is the power of innovation. We have had a time when we all had to start from zero, when we had to reflect. As we went through the COVID and the lockdowns, we all had to think of better and innovative ways of reaching our different stakeholders. And so museums are among those that had found innovative ways of bringing the museums to the public through other innovative means. The third one is the power of community education. Through its collections and programs, museums provide lifelong learning opportunities to all, and this contributes to ensuring the existing of an informed society. And lastly, the power to conserve our culture. Museums are indeed the most prominent institutions in conserving, preserving, and safeguarding our culture and heritage in all its forms, both tangible and intangible. So the conservation of heritage comprises activities related to acquisition, collection, management, including risk analysis and the development of preparedness and capacities. So ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, allow me to take this opportunity to extend our sincere appreciation to all individuals, institutions, and stakeholders who have participated and supported this year's celebration. We want to thank you so much for being part of the museum family. I wish you all successful celebrations today and for the rest of the year until we celebrate again next year. I thank you. It's now my honor to invite the Honorable Minister to address you. Honorable Minister, sir.
The Honorable Minister of State, Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, the Permanent Secretary, Directors and Commissioners, Board of Trustees, Chief Executive of agencies, local government leaders, our development partners, members of the private sector, our distinguished invited, the community of Kitante here, and lovers of culture and tradition. Before I make my statement, I want to thank the PS for her statement. It's a pity she did not present it in full, because that's what I would have loved. But nevertheless, I thank her for her statement. And I welcome officially the new director of the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities here. I'm waiting for an opportunity to meet him in the office. But let me make a general statement first. Museums, libraries, theaters, and if you like, hospitals, churches, mosques. If you go in a country, you should expect those institutions to be present in that particular country. And the more developed they are, the more demonstration you have, or they exhibit the level of civilization of that society. They exhibit the level of civilization of that society. So if you went to a country and you can't find a museum, you can't find a library, you cannot find, well, hospitals, of course, is a level of development, and you can't find churches and mosques, then you know there is a trouble. There's trouble. There's something missing in that country. Although Napoleon argued when he attacked Russia, he found there more churches than industries or factories. And he said that Russia was undeveloped because they have more churches than industries, and like in France. And so the Russians decided that in the coming century, they will make sure that there are more industries, isn't it, than churches. And that is the case now in Russia. But even during the war, any invading force will always try as much as possible to avoid, isn't it, destroying churches, destroying mosques, destroying museums, libraries, theaters, of course hospitals. Because if you destroy the museum here, our museum here, that's the highest level of provocation, isn't it? Any country can visit to that particular country. So any invading force will always avoid those institutions, as I have said, so that they don't reach that level of total provocation, which will be endless, and it can give us a lot of problems in the future. That you came when you are fighting and you destroyed the Uganda Museum at Kitale. We will never forget that country, and it cannot happen. So therefore, Uganda has joined today the rest of the world to celebrate the International Museum Day today here. This is remarkable in the whole world. Museums all over the world interact with communities and well-wishers to share experiences, achievements, and challenges in their services. Worldwide, the International Museum Day is organized by the International Council of Museums. The objective of International Museum today is to raise awareness of the fact that museums are an important means of cultural exchange, enrichment of cultures, and development of mutual understanding, cooperation, and peace among peoples. Last year, more than 37,000 museums participated in the event in about 158 countries and territories. The International Museums Day 2022 theme is Power of Museums, which drives at exploring and unpacking the potential embedded in museums. Uganda has adopted a local theme, the power of museums in conservation of our culture. Museums have the potential to create meaningful experiences for people of all origins and backgrounds to achieve their social value. As agents of change and trusted institutions, museums have got to demonstrate their relevance by engaging constructively in the political, social, and cultural realities of modern society. In other words, Uganda Museums, Kitale here, this museum, it must really demonstrate the relevance of this huge institution here at Kitale. And I think they have done their work very well. I think so. I don't think there should be any A-level art student, isn't it? Really, who should pass and finish his A-level without ever visiting the Uganda Museum, isn't it? Because what did you say? What story do you tell? And of course, I don't think anybody graduating from any university, if you have never visited a national park, how can you be proud of your country? You've never been to any national park of Uganda. And you are allowed to talk quiet. You must visit. I'm not saying that you must spend. I'm not campaigning for UTB, but I am. But there you are, isn't it? You should be able to visit your country, and especially if you have an opportunity of studying in Kampala, you should at least visit this museum to come and see what we have for you, and what we have protected, what we have kept, what we have preserved for you, for posterity, including all ourselves. With the theme, The Power of Museums, this year's celebration aims at becoming a rallying point to display the hidden potential that museums have been keeping for a long time. Uganda Museum has mounted a temporary exhibition that is showcasing the journey which is taken from 1908. So in other words, by 1908, that's when we started having a museum here in Uganda. And there's no doubt that 2022, I think we should take pride and say that we have done very well and more is to come. Plans are in place to make the Uganda Museum become vibrant and attractive. More tourists, both domestically and internationally. When completed, these services shall be able to reach intended users from where they will be. So, when we have finally built, constructed our center here, this museum, our expansion, every tourist should find his way to eat at this great place, isn't it? So that when he goes back to the US, if he's a Frenchman, he goes back and compares the Uganda Museum with the Louvre, you know the Louvre in Paris, or he compares the Uganda Museum with the Berlin Museum, or the London Museum. The newly created Washington, D.C. Museum of Black Society thing. Then that tourist will compare what he has seen in Kampala and what pertains at their own place. When he goes back, he will tell the story. We therefore appeal to each and everybody to be part of the national drive to protect and conserve the national heritage. Make positive use of the benefits you sustainably such that continuity prevails. We appreciate the contributions made by our partners and sponsors that have made this function a success. We congratulate the schools. We congratulate the schools that participated in the quiz. One of them is St. Teresa, Kisubi. I had a daughter who went to that school, so I was excited today when they came here. I congratulate all other schools which participated in this quiz. And make sure that next year you win again. And I thank you all, everybody who has come to participate in this event as part of the celebrations 2022. And I thank you and congratulate you. I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for that wonderful speech. I thank all the guests who have come and attended this function. However, we are not yet done. We are going to go to the lobby, and the Honorable Minister and team they're going to tour the different exhibits and displays that you have from the different exhibitors. We shall also have some small time for launching the U app of the museum. I kindly therefore request all of us to join the Honorable Minister and team to do the remaining activities. Thank you.
Honorable Ministers, Madam PS, Director and Protocol Observers, thank you very much. I'm just going to be brief here. We are going to show an app, Uganda Museum app, which is to be used by people on their phones, but we have decided to show it here. I will first demonstrate how it works, and those who might have phones will be able to download and also go back with the apps of the Uganda Museum. And we want to spread the message especially to schools which are counties that they connect with theirs. But this is a touch screen, but we are only demonstrating here the app. It works off a computer and the TV screen. So once we have it here, I will come here and I go back. Okay, and then I will go to home, and then it brings me to apps like a computer, and then you go to Play Store. We have done it in Android phones, most people have, and then you type your museum, which we have been typing, just remember it. So this one brings the logo of the museum, and immediately it has been installed. So for this case, we will not repeat installing, but if you have a phone, immediately you will be able to inform. But let me go back. Okay, let me go back here. Your museum. So once we have it, I can decide just to open, and it brings me exactly because we have already installed it. But on your phone, it will delete off the bundle. So what happens immediately, we can tell you, it takes you there on education. But one of the most important things we did for some of the teachers who want to book, because they used to travel. Somebody coming from Gulu or Karamoja has to come and book for a Friday to come and transport at the time. So the best thing is they will register. So I go back, we ask you here home, and we will ask you to log in. And then if you have not registered, but for me who has registered, if you have not registered, you sign up. But for me who has registered, so I'll log in, because I put my number, don't mind. It will be 256 75205 6, and I'm going to put my password. Of course I will change it. Log in. On the screen takes a little bit time, it's very fast, just come. So there, just you can see just welcome to me. And then if you want, sometimes I have a ticket. If you have booked some previous time, we'll bring, but this ticket will link to your email when you are registered. Yeah. So I registered. I think I'm coming on 25th. I did this one yesterday, but I can demonstrate again. Back home on education, I want to plan a visit, a school group, and then you can put the name of the school. So, and then yeah. district. I can put Kampala. So the process takes a little bit long. Yeah, 056506. And then the class, I can say primary 3. And then the date, it will bring me, I'm coming on 31st. Yeah, interest, we can say Stone Age. So the number of people, staff maybe there are 2. People can be 15 to indicate how much will cost you, and then you proceed. So the message will go direct to the email, and they will be happy how much and when they will be confirming my ticket. So this is briefly, so it's okay, you're booking inside this. I think that is about the app which we have developed. Thank you, Minister. And I will welcome you to demonstrate briefly and to launch this officially. It was funded by the French Embassy. Thank you. Yeah.
First, I congratulate Uganda Museum. I congratulate Uganda Museum for developing this very interesting application. I congratulate the young man. Very quickly, I think that's it. Now he has moved very, very fast. This is really the way to go. This is the way to go, and I congratulate the PS for enabling this institution to reach this level, and you can be sure that as you are already promised, you will receive all the support that you deserve. Congratulations. Thank you very much. We now launch the application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we have some exhibitions which with partners and also our staff did the objects, and they brought the objects which are from stored from 1908 to show how far some objects have not been seen. But we are going to move here slowly, and then we shall come out. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's start here.
Yeah, yes, sir, you're welcome. We are National Anthem Representation Center. We lies in Kitchen District Headquarters. We brought in our exhibition as a partner to the Uganda Museum. Today we are exhibiting the materials young children, the new generation, we are working with in the lower school curriculum. That is engaging young people in history teaching, both in class and outside the classroom. Specifically for now, I wouldn't take so much prior to the background. But I want to say this particular exhibition talks to the young generation to live a just future, imagining the past to avoid the occurrence of violence of the past. That's why we want to encourage especially the school-going children to engage with the exhibition. For this now, I thank you. I beg to hand here.
Thank you.
Honorable Minister, the particular project is the art project of the School of Law from Makerere University. It's not an entry, but it's part of Makerere University. And our project has helped bridge the gap of learning in terms of research. And one of our greatest works on this particular project is to build the competitive conflict, which we use to guide document all the conflicts in Uganda and to help people do more research in terms of conflict. And this is a copy we would love you to read also to understand the narrative about conflict and peace in Uganda, which has been a 3 years research work of the School of Law Group with the project of Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was established last year. It has been receiving technical guidance from the Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Activities in the establishment of their museum. They can say something about the museum.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Considering time, we have given a summary of our museum into a short clip, which consists of the leadership, because we know as an institution, everything rises and falls on leaders. And so we have profiled the leaders that have led URA from its inception. We know that one leader builds on the other for an institution like URA to stand. That's why we have profiled them from its inception in 1991 up to date. Leaders, you know, from the president, the ministers of finance, as URA is under the Minister of Finance. Then as as the governing body of URA, we have the board of directors, which superintends or leads what URA does. Then our leaders, then to the tools that we use, as well as the accolades. In the course of doing business, URA has partnered with a number of institutions, and in the process, they have acknowledged what URA has done, and therefore awarded URA in a number of engagements. So briefly, that's what the museum does. It's keeping the memory of URA as an institution, but also keeping the culture so that the young generation can attest or follow what tax administration as the former lead of URA has been doing since its inception to date, so that they will be able to appreciate what tax administration. At the moment, I can't specifically tell where he is, but Lucky Show was our first Commissioner General. Honorary became the third after Popo. He led the URA at the time when the president thought it was to bring a new breed, a new culture, because of the situation that was at the institution, which was more of a corrupt tendency. So bringing away from a private sector foundation, because it was fixed from PwC, Price Waterhouse Coopers. So bringing me back to URA was our first time in a public institution. So bringing that background of finance and administration into the public institution.
So now the tax museum is at the URA Tower. This is new business campaigns, we are encouraging them to contact the museum that do this Uganda broadcasting corporation. But they are also about to contact the museum and they grow the artifacts they have with them.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I know here your home. For so many years, served in the studios of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. But what we have here illustrates the journey we've moved from analog to digital format. We have the audio equipment that were used in the 70s, 60s, and 50s, the reel-to-reel. And then we have also the audio-visual formats, the side film, and then the 3/4-inch tapes, plus the decks that were used. I can't explain more because it's very long, but we want to give time. He was using this. The solid format, but still real to real.
UK Community Development and Mama.
That is
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, we have the Islamic Museum in Uganda. It's based at the Patent Tebe, and the Sheikh Mbogo is the coordinator of that museum.
The museum was established purposely to collect reserves for staff against Islamic heritage as well as for political history of Uganda. The museum is divided in two categories: organized. We have the introduction of Islam gallery. We have the formation of Uganda Civil Council. Here you can see we have the roots of Islam in Uganda. The day Uganda was a Muslim nation. And here we have the lineup of the roots of Uganda. I think you know some of these roots. There are some people, there must be some people. Then we have the Islamic Hall of Fame. This category comprises people who have contributed at least something to the development of Islam. Some people have been asking when does President Museveni appear here in the Islamic Hall of Fame, because he's the one who wrote to Gaddafi to construct for us the magnificent mosque you see at Old Kampala. Also donated land for Islamic University at Kampala Road. Then we have, this is an international Hall of Fame. It is for Ugandans who have excelled up to the international level. You can see Abdullah September, Yanima, among the top global women. We have Alton Sange, the first Ugandan to officiate in the World Cup. We have Archbishop Chaka Setam, we have Archbishop Ondama, and down here we have Eddie Kenzo, who won the Best Award. So we have so many people in this international Hall of Fame. We have the Women's Gallery here. This is Amin appointed the first female ministers permanent secretaries. So we also established a gallery for women in Uganda who have accepted or who have attained different positions. For example, you can see Jessica Mo, Vice President, Special Tawandera Kazima, the first woman to become Vice President in Uganda. So this is the Hall of Fame. And we have Uganda Julia, Uganda's first female pilot and graduate.
We have 36 community museums in Desert Visit Goma, but we have only 4 of them exhibiting here because of the resource problem. This is the Madi Community Museum, all the way from Moyo. The 2 of the things that I can show you, we learned about iron ore. These are stones that contain iron and can be smelted to get the steel. Then they have this instrument called the ordeal. It is inscribed by UNESCO and one of the 6 intangible cultural heritage in Uganda. With funding from UNESCO, we have been able to produce a documentary, and we shall give you a copy of the documentary as we proceed. Kindly remove slowly. Honorable Minister, here we have Mbale, Mountain Building Museum of History and Culture in Mbale. It is one of the promising museums in the country, and they are displaying a lot of articles. Here they have only brought the pictures. We can move on our minister. On this table, we have the community museum from Bunyoro under the URDT. It is a portrait showing the process and the materials they use to make what give the purple. That's the purple naming ceremony. It is also one of the intangible cultural heritage that was inscribed by UNESCO. So there are 40 number of things that can be eaten. I know many here people here have not eaten the white nuts. They are here. We have the G-nuts and the Sim. They are here. Those will enjoy them later. Prime Minister, as Uganda, we produced a documentary about the intangible cultural heritage. And I beg that you accept our envelope. Inside there is a book on this documentary, and then the film, and a letter to you as Prime Minister of Tourism and Activities. Kindly accept the envelope. Before we hand up, the Joanna is also here displaying the
Ogere old tradition, and Ogere herself, Alice Mesemera, has become an artifact today. She's being displayed here, just to show the story of Ogere. But our minister has Koma, we are now have embarked on documenting the undocumented culture and cultural resources, especially the tangible and those that are tangible that have not been documented so far. So we are glad that whenever you go up country, please kindly visit a community museum, because we have some, we have a community museum in every big town of Uganda. You are welcome, visit us always. But as a tradition of the Matoro, you have to sit on that stool and then they tell you what is happening here. I will not say much because I know